Welcome in, everybody. It's Catfish on Ice. It's episode 276 with Chad Minton and Max Greenberg. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, man. We're halfway through the preseason. It's moving right along. Let's see. The Predators have won a couple games. They got the vibes flowing a little bit. It is preseason. I am not a big preseason guy. I don't buy stock on preseason, no matter how it goes. I'm just old school that way. But I will say, Max, I have to admit that this preseason feels a little different to me because this team is in a very different place that they've been in a long time. It seems that the front office is finally kind of embracing the fact that they got to get younger. You know, we've been begging for this for years now, it feels like.
Yeah.
So it finally feels like Barry Trotz might be willing to take that plunge. And we're seeing it. And there are a lot of very encouraging things that are happening in this preseason that we're going to get into. So me and Max are going to get into that. First of all, Max, also, you're a big Titans guy. So you got to talk Titans and Preds tonight, man. I'm sorry I got to throw that at you.
Oh, God. We'll get to it.
I don't even know what's worse for you to have to talk about right now. Like, I mean, it's like a double whammy for you.
I mean, at least the Preds have the benefit of not having started the season yet and not knowing what it's going to be like.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, the Preds haven't even started yet. So we can't be too hard on them yet because they haven't even started. But we do have to get into it. They've already got bad luck coming their way. We got to get into the Nicolas Hague injury.
Yeah.
And we're not talking like a day-to-day, like, oh, he tweaked something, he's going to be fine. No, we're talking like the first month of the regular season, everybody. That's actually a pretty significant injury to take in the preseason. And he took it from a hit against in the second half of the split squad Florida Panthers preseason game. And that was his preseason debut with the Predators. And so that's tough because he was pretty much the consensus pick to be playing with Roman Josi. So we never want to see an injury. Never, ever want to see an injury. It doesn't matter if it's the water boy. It doesn't matter if it's the popcorn vendor. It doesn't matter who it is. We don't like to see injuries. But an injury to Nicolas Hague is definitely unfortunate because you were slotting him in to be the partner to Roman Josi. We already know that Roman Josi is looking to have a very heroic return to the NHL, which, let me tell you, if Roman Josi can even do 75% of what we know he's capable of, he's the comeback player of the year. The Masterton Trophy goes to Roman Josi. Like, who else is even going to challenge him? But we got to figure out who's going to play with Roman Josi. So we'll get into that because Hague being out definitely throws a monkey wrench into those plans. Not just that, but I've been saying all offseason that my big belief into why I think the Predators are going to be a much improved team from last year. I haven't called them a playoff team. I haven't gone that far, but I've definitely thought they're going to be an improved team is because I think their defense is going to be a lot better. And I gave a lot of credit to adding Nick Hague to the equation. You trade you trade Jeremy Lauzon to get Nick Hague, which me and Max have both agreed upon in previous episodes. It's kind of a one-for-one swap. It's kind of hard to grade that trade. So it's kind of like, but now that Hague's going to be out for probably the first month of the regular season, that really, it's nobody's fault. Injuries happen. It's bad luck. But that just really
it sucks. I mean, you never want to see it happen.
Yeah. So we got to get into that. Luckily, the Preds do have a very, very deep bench when it comes to their defense. They have some guys who can step in. So we're going to go through those guys and think about how can Andrew Brunette sort this out without Hague in the picture. And then also we have to get into all right, we're 3 games through the preseason, a split squad. They sweep the doubleheader against the Panthers. You're not going against a lot of guys who are going to be playing for the Panthers. So let's take it with a grain of salt. I don't want to like rain on everybody's parade here. Hey, a win's a win. It always feels nice to win, right? And the Predators did look good. They had some guys that did really well. Brady Martin and Matthew Wood in particular are doing their jobs. Let's put it that way. Like, look, all you can do is come and play the games. Like, you can take a guy like me who doesn't take a lot of stock in preseason, but you got guys like Brady Martin and Matthew Wood. They're treating these games like, no, these games matter, and they do matter to these guys. And so we got to talk about these 2 guys, but also just the team in general, what we're seeing. They also threw out a lot of their heavy hitters in the most previous preseason game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they lost in the shootout, but they also showed some good things as well. So overall, I would say the preseason, it has looked as good as you could ask for. I mean, I don't see any red flags or anything that has me like freaked out other than that Hague injury.
Yeah, no, I mean, the injuries are terrible. And I like you, I haven't kept up a ton with the preseason, but just again, I mean, he was like the offseason acquisition. Like there were some others, but he was the biggest. Like I think everyone would agree, by far the biggest offseason acquisition. To lose him for the first month, I mean, yeah, that's
and
brutal.
When you see that, I mean, when you see that news come out, you're just like, really? Like, are we really starting off the season this way?
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to navigate through it. So we'll figure out a way to do that. And then also our annual Catfish on Ice. I think this is our 3rd year in a row that I want to do this. We are going to dissect what all the quote-unquote experts are saying about the preseason and what they think about the Predators. We got our old friend Jay Fresh and what his standing projections, where he puts the Predators in his analytic models. We got some bold predictions from ESPN, and we'll dig up some other ones. What are they saying about the Nashville Predators and give our thoughts about it? So we'll do that. And then I hate to do this to Max. I really do. He's my friend. I hate to put him through this. But we are going to end this episode because we haven't done it in a few episodes. We're going to ask him about, we got to bring Titans time back.
And I do want to do some Titans time. I mean, it's been a while, and I do want to kind of talk about the state of the team. And put it this way, it's bad, but I still want to talk about it.
We gotta get some folks caught up on that as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. So let's get into it with the opening face-off of tonight's episode. And let's go ahead and get into the Nick Hague injury. I think that really is even bigger news than what the Predators have done in the first 3 preseason games. So we'll save that after this segment. So let's do the opening face-offs tonight and talk about the Nick Hague injury, because it is a pretty significant ripple effect, if you ask me. But I do think that the Predators, with all their deficiencies and with all their problems, and me and Boyd, who guest co-host the last episode, we kind of actually touched on this a little bit. The Predators are very deep on defense. They don't have many luxuries on this team. But one thing they do have is they are pretty deep. They do have a lot of capable defensemen who can step up. Now, a month is a long time, and you're talking about a guy you just traded for. So that is not ideal, obviously. So, Max, what is your first thought? Like, who is the first player you think of? Are you thinking it's going to be like a revolving door? We're going to have to try multiple people out? Or are you thinking like, let's get one guy up there? It's his chance.
I mean, to your point about a lot of depth on the defense, there's a lot of guys up back there who can, rotate in from time to time. But, there's not really there's not much blue chip talent there besides Josi at all. Yeah, Brady Shea, they have him, but again, he's on the left side. You don't want to do that. And again, I mean, he's certainly not on the caliber of a guy like Roman Josi. So, I mean, certainly no one who you're going to put there will be an ideal top pairing guy for Roman Josi. I mean, I go back to what I've said, but use this opportunity to put Nick Blankenburg up there. Seriously. I mean, he's probably him or Perbix are probably the best options to me. Maybe Adam Wilsby. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, literally, like I said, Blankenburg can go up there. Perbix can go up there. Maybe Adam Wilsby could. Tanner Molenbeek might could. Hell, even like Brady Shea could. Honestly, it's really up in the air. I mean, granted, not just because I've said it all along, but kind of because I said it all along. Nick Blankenburg is the guy I put up because he's a right shot defenseman. And he, like I said, his analytics were strong last year against good competition and with legit minutes. I mean, you consider every factor up there. I mean, I would have wanted him there and, Nick Hague on one of the lower pairs either way. I mean, that's obviously not how it's shaped up throughout the preseason at least. But, I mean, the way I see it for sure, if it was up to me, Nick Blankenburg would be the guy who'd get the nod in this situation.
We also have the Gold Star Showcase going on. So it's the inter-squad scrimmage right now going on at Bridgestone Arena. And that guy, Joakim Kimmel, has already got, it looks like 2 goals in this game for Team White.
I've seen Boyd has said good things about him on Twitter.
Yeah, he's opened up this. Yeah, so I'm looking through the Predators official X account. And, I mean, Kimmel has had we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the next segment, talking about the preseason in general, but Kimmel, along with Brady Martin and Matthew Wood, I mean, you're talking about 3 forwards who are really giving Andrew Brunette a lot to think about. So Kimmel's got two goals tonight in the inter-squad Gold Star Showcase. And again, I get it. This is just like a coach can't just say, oh, this guy scored 2 goals in this inter-squad scrimmage, I have to put him in now. I'm not saying this is the difference maker. It's just good to see that a guy like Kimmel just keeps his momentum going.
Yeah.
It's still good to see. But I what I'm seeing from Kimmel is not even surprising me, honestly. Like, I mean, the guy's got the skills and the talent, and it really doesn't surprise me. So let's get back to this the injury with Hague. I'm going with Adam Wilsby, and that's the guy that Andrew Brunette is also keeps going back to.
And I've heard he's done really well in the preseason.
But it's not even just about the preseason. I'm going back to last season before he got injured. I mean, the guy. I mean, who knows where we would be if he doesn't get hurt last year? And you can say that about anybody who gets hurt. You can say that about Josi. You can say that about anybody. That's just part of sports. You get hurt, it happens. But, I mean, I feel like Wilsby, I'm not saying he's your top option when everything's perfect when it comes to being your top pairing defenseman. But when you think about where the Predators are right now, is it the worst place to be to test out Adam Wilsby, who by all accounts is definitely a big part of your future? You want him to be a big part of your future. Andrew Brunette cannot stop talking good things about Adam Wilsby. I think this is a bad thing. An unfortunate thing happens that you don't want to happen, but it does open up a door for someone else to take charge. And I see that for Adam Wilsby. I think for sure he's going to get an opportunity, but from what I'm seeing around the reports from the team and everything, it seems like they're going to go with a revolving door at first, a trial and error, and they're going to try multiple different options to play with Josi. But I think Adam Wilsby is your plan A, your top option. I think Nick Blankenburg is a very fair plan B. I think Nick Blankenburg serves way better not playing 24, 25 minutes a game. That's just me personally. Who you want on that top pairing? I've heard Perbix be thrown out there as being a top. Again, he's never played top pairing. So you're in you're kind of in a, even though you're deep when it comes to your Preds bench, when it comes to your defensemen, you've also don't have a lot of proven top pairing guys to step in. I've been saying this even before the Hague injury. I've been saying all offseason. I've been asking all offseason. I've been throwing this question out there. Who is going to play with Roman Josi?
And we've been talking about it a lot.
And the consensus kind of all came around that it was going to be Nick Hague. And now he's hurt. For the first month of the season, that's a significant amount of time, everybody. Yeah. You really going to have to work through this. Yeah. That's why we're leading this off tonight with this episode. This is not a minor injury. This is a pretty big deal for a team that does not have a lot of margin for error. I also said this all offseason, that this team, I meant it more towards the forwards more than I did the defense. But either way, this team does not have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to taking injuries, long-term injuries. No. So they've already taken one, and we're not even fully through the preseason yet. Like, that's an issue. So, I mean, I think Adam Wilsby's my top choice. You got to see what you got in him. You've already kind of seen what you have in him. The guy's got a great two-way game. From what I've heard, he didn't look great in the preseason, but look, the guy was out for how long? I think you got to try him out for sure. But like as Brunette, I think already said, he's going to have to do some trial and error here, and he's going to have to probably try Perbix up there. He's probably going to try Blankenberg maybe up there. I don't know. He might even throw Shea up there. Here's why I don't like the thought of Roman Josi and Brady Shea, because now you're kind of throwing your two veterans on the top pairing, and then you're going straight down.
Besides, they tried it last year, it didn't work out.
Yeah. But this scares me in a little bit because I feel like they're going to have to really do the shuffleboard again with their defensemen. And we saw what happened last year when all these guys started going down and UC Saros couldn't hold down the fort, and it just became a shooting gallery. So Adam Wilsby's my guy, but you look at the defense. I mean, they've still got Spencer Stastny, who I think is a more than capable third or second pairing defenseman. And then after that, you got a lot of prospects to lean on. That's kind of where you're at with it.
Now, let me ask you this question, because you made a comment about you not being so confident that Nick Blankenberg's going to play 20, 25 minutes a game. What makes you confident that Wilsby can do it and Blankenberg can't? Because from what I saw last year, I don't think Wilsby showed me really anything that Blankenberg couldn't do as far as the first pairing discussion.
I like Wilsby more as a two-way physical top pairing defenseman that you have to be to play those minutes. I like Blankenberg more as a second or third pairing defenseman who can come in. Blankenberg has a lot of offensive flash to his game. Yes, he can block shots. Yes, he plays very admirably when it comes to his defensive game, but he's undersized. I need a guy on the top pairing who can protect Roman Josi. I don't like Blankenberg's size playing on the top pairing.
The size is a good point. I will say, his underlying numbers defensively, I thought he played fine defensively last year, and his underlying numbers were strong. I'll also say this, in terms of the injury proneness, Wilsby was out in two separate stints last year injury-wise. Do you think a guy like that can hold up on the top pair?
Well, I don't know if he is or not. That's something we have to deal with, of course. But, I think that Brunette's going to have to shuffle the deck. He's going to have to work through it, and that's not something I wanted to see at all to start the season. This is obviously not ideal. I kind of came around to, even though I thought the trade for Hague was kind of weird at first, I didn't really understand it. I kind of came around to it because I was kind of thinking that Jeremy Lazan kind of topped out a little bit here. Yeah, he knows how to hit. He knows how to do the things. But it's like he also takes a lot of penalties, and I wasn't sure what his ceiling was. And then then they go and sign Nick Hague. That was Trotz's thinking was we're gonna bolster up the blue line. We go and get Nick Perbix as well. That's our offseason. Our offseason is going to be complete opposite of the offseason before, where we were flashy and we took all these big superstars. No, we're going to be way more calm this year. We're going to be way more conservative, and we're going to leave room for these younger players to come up and seize their opportunities. And now your big piece of your offseason, which really wasn't a big offseason to begin with, is gone for the first month. So now we're scrambling here. I'm not opposed to Nick Blankenburg getting a chance. I like Nick Blankenburg. I like the guy's tenacity. That's kind of the term I was looking earlier. I like tenacity. I like Wilsby's overall body of work more than I like Blankenburg. I think Wilsby has a way higher ceiling than Blankenburg has in this league. But they still got to play the games, and Wilsby still has to prove it. And he has not proven it. Blankenburg has proven it way more on the NHL level than Wilsby has, but Wilsby hasn't gotten that opportunity yet. So it's not fair to compare the two. But that's why I want to at least try it out with Wilsby. But I think Brunette's going to have to scramble him. He's going to have to. There's no doubt about it.
I agree.
I don't see him sticking with one player. And he probably was going to have to do that anyway. Even if Hague was in there, I think
agree.
he was probably
I agree.
That. All this does is stretch out the bench a little bit, and I think it gives guys like Stastny a chance to move in now. It definitely gives Blankenburg a chance to move his way up. It makes it more interesting for the bubble players that we talked about in previous episodes. It kind of opens up that opportunity now for those guys to save themselves some time stick around a little bit longer. I even go down further down the depth chart. I think about Jordan Osterley, Andreas England. Those guys have more of a chance now to stick around. Here. I'm just saying, though.
I mean, you're right.
You need that depth more now that Hague's out. You need some veterans around,
I will also say one thing, and who knows where this goes. This opens up potential opportunities for some guys to maybe boost their value a little on the trade market, because there's a lot of defensemen on this team. It doesn't make sense to keep all of them, especially if the team is healthy. So maybe if a guy like, I don't know, Blankenburg, if you don't think he has a real future, because he is going to be a free agent in the coming offseason, so it's no guarantee he has a future here. You bring up and he plays really well, you might get a decent package for him.
Yeah.
Maybe not a package. You might get a little.
No, I get.
Yeah, I mean, you might get something.
I get what you're saying. You're always thinking about that, especially when you're a team like the Predators right now. Yeah. Like, you're always thinking about guys boosting their value on the trade market.
Right.
So I think that they're going to have to do the musical chairs with their defense, but it is really important that they navigate this properly. Otherwise, this season can go off the rails just like it did last season. If they can't protect UC Saros properly, I've said this all offseason. Even though I do believe that UC Saros did not play up to his full potential, I also think a big part of it, and Barry Trotz agrees with that. He said it over the offseason. They didn't do their star goaltender any favor.
Oh, no.
And Hague was a guy that they were hoping could come in and stabilize things and be that veteran presence. Not that Jeremy Lazan wasn't necessarily, but I felt like Hague was definitely going to play that role a little bit better. And you don't have him now for a month. That's a problem. But it leaves other opportunities for other guys to step up. So we'll have to see how that goes. You're going to see a lot of shuffling, I think. But you have to figure out who's going to play with Roman Josi. That is so important going into a season like this, especially considering what Roman Josi is battling, and it's awesome. So Roman Josi's played 2 preseason games. I want to throw that out there. That's very significant to me. Again, I'm not a big preseason guy, but the fact that Roman Josi has played 2 preseason games and he's played over 24 minutes in each of those games, for me, that's significant because you're talking about a guy. When we first got the news of that diagnosis, I was naturally paranoid and thinking the worst, and I was worried. I was like, are we ever going to see our captain again at his full capacity? The fact that he's playing, and then even when they came out with when he came out and said, "Oh yeah, I'm feeling 100%, I'm feeling good," I was still kind of worried.
Yeah, you never really trust that.
Yeah, like I was just thinking, okay, how overly positive are we being right now? But the fact that he's, I'm not a big preseason guy, but the fact that he's played over 24 minutes in each of those preseason games, that's a lot of minutes to log for preseason.
Right.
Normally Roman Josi plays like maybe 1 or 2 preseason games at most. He's already played 2. He's played significant minutes. We still have 3 preseason games remaining. You got to think he's going to at least play in 1 of the last 3. They got 1 more against Tampa, and they got 2 against Carolina. He's probably going to at least play in 1 of those last 3. So they're definitely trying to get his reps up right now, more so than maybe in the past. So it's good to see that. I am very encouraged for that, but we got to figure out who's going to be playing with him. It's very important for a player like Roman Josi at his stage in his career. You got to make sure he's playing with the right player.
Right. No, absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, but I do agree. It's going to be very much a revolving door over there.
Yep. All right. So let's move along here and let's get to the first 3 preseason games. The Predators swept the split squad doubleheader against the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers didn't play a lot of their big-time players. They played a lot of prospects. They didn't even play their top goaltenders. But the Predators did win both of those games. And we got to see some of the younger players in action, including Matthew Wood, who had a 3-point game in one of the games against the Panthers. And then we also have to talk about Brady Martin. Brady Martin and Matthew Wood actually played a lot with Philip Forsberg, which I found very interesting. Kind of a window into the future, possibly, Max.
No, the one what was I gonna say? The one goal, I can't remember which one it was. One of the goals Brady Martin had, it was down low. I mean, Matthew Wood did some great work down below the goal, working hard to get the puck from the defenders and giving it right to Brady Martin. He shelved it. I mean, it was great work down low by Matthew Wood.
Yep. So regardless of who you're going up against, when you're talking about guys like Matthew Wood and Brady Martin, when you see stuff like that, you're very encouraged. You're very happy to see that. And so you're looking at that 5-3 win over the Panthers. The game 2 of the doubleheader. I'm looking at it right now. That was the game where Matthew Wood had a goal and 2 assists. And then Ryan O'Reilly had a goal and an assist. Stamkos had a goal. Cole Smith had a goal. Forsberg had a goal and assist. So just a lot of, like, you had 5 different goal scorers. So you see the scoring spread out. So that's always good to see. And then you go back, even Hague had an assist in that game. But then you go back to the game 1 of that doubleheader against the Panthers. And it was a 5-0 win by the Predators. And you saw Reed Schaefer, another guy that's pushing for a roster spot. He got a goal. Eric Holla had 2 goals. Edstrom, who is a very under the radar future center in the prospect pool, who they have high hopes for, doesn't get talked about a lot at all, but he had a goal. And then Ryder Rolston, who doesn't get talked about much, had a goal. And then Jonathan Marchessault had 2 assists. Brady Shea had 2 assists. And you saw a shutout from Matthew Murray and Justus Ananen in net. So, look, you look at the Panthers roster, and they didn't throw out any of their heavy hitters. I mean, very few of these guys are going to be on their opening night roster. When you're a team like the Panthers, back-to-back champions, yeah, you're probably not going to throw out your heavy hitters in the preseason.
No.
But still, I'm not trying to rain on the parade. I'm just calling it for what it is. But either way, you're still happy to see your prospects scoring in the preseason. That's coming from a guy who doesn't care about preseason. I'm still happy to see these guys making an impact. And then we go to the loss of the preseason. They lost 3-2 to the Lightning in the shootout, the last preseason game. But you see Brady Martin score 2 goals. I mean, I really don't care that they lost. That's the storyline. That's the headline. It's not they lost. Who cares that they lost? They put up 29 shots on goal, and they scored 2 goals from their 5th overall pick in Brady Martin. You get 2 assists from Matthew Wood, who's already having a great preseason going into this game. There's your storyline right there. I don't need to hear anything else. So that's your future. Saros pitched a shutout, 7 saves, and then they put in Justus Ananen, and he makes 16 saves out of 18 shots, and they lose in the shutout. So even though they lose this game, I'm still pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy. I'm as happy as I can be in the preseason.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've seen what you want to see with, especially with Brady Martin and Matthew Wood. I remember a few weeks ago we were talking, and you talked about how Matthew Wood has a good chance to make the roster, and I said I don't know if I would call it a good chance. Now he really might make the starting lineup out of training camp because like you say, there's at least a spot or 2 in this lineup that are up for grabs, and if Matthew Wood's going to keep that up, I mean, I could absolutely see it.
There's Joel. Joel on Facebook says, let Martin play top 6 minutes for the first 8 games and then decide to keep him or send him down. That's a bold move.
That's very lofty. That's very lofty. I mean, I wouldn't totally be against it, but I'm just saying.
I'm not against it at all.
That's a big expectation to have.
With where this team is at right now, honestly, I'm buying what Joel is selling right now. I really am. And I said this. You thought I was crazy, Max, when I said this at the time when he was first drafted. And I was so passionate about it. I was saying, what do you have to lose? I mean, it's your 5th overall pick. You look at this team. They're top 6, no matter how you shape it. They're top 6. It is can't even go up against the top half of the league in terms of top 6s. It's very depleted. Doesn't matter who you put where. Doesn't matter. You can argue all day about, we're going to put Forsberg with Stamkos. We're going to put Forsberg with O'Reilly. We're going to put Marchessault here. Doesn't matter. The top 6 is very, very mid at best. It's definitely, in my opinion, it's outside the top 20, and that's being very, very kind. It's not a top 20 top 6.
Yes. Yeah, that's not even up for debate.
So what do you have to lose? I mean, the worst you have to lose with taking Joel's comment here, preaching to my choir, Joel, the worst that you have to lose is that Brady Martin, I'm not worried about Brady Martin's confidence. That's what you always hear all the time. Trot says this all the time. We don't want to rush a guy in, a young player in, because we might damage his confidence. All accounts I'm hearing, all the way from when he was drafted, you drafted him 5th overall for a reason, first of all. And second of all I'm hearing after he's been drafted from everyone around the front office and all of his teammates, including Philip Forsberg. I read a comment from Michael Bunting today about it. all they're saying about Brady Martin is that this guy is way beyond his years. He plays for an 18-year-old. He plays way, way beyond his age. You're playing for the 8 games. What's the worst you have to lose? What happens if he lights it up? What happens? I mean, what happens if he doesn't? What happens? I'm not worried about his confidence, and I'm not worried about this team. I don't think he's going to lose games for this team if you try him up there. This team's already depleted as it is. I think you try him up there. Now, whose roster spot does he take? That's the question you have to answer. Thank you for the comment, Joel.
Now, in terms of that question, I would guess if he really goes up to the top 6, he probably takes a second line spot and bumps down Svechkov. Probably one spot is my guess. I mean, I'm not now. Don't hear me.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that.
Now, don't hear me as saying like, "Oh no, Brady Martin cannot play in the top 6. He's not cut out for that yet." Blah blah. I mean, I wouldn't be against it if it happened, but again, I know. Look, one thing, and we talked about this, during the Titans preseason. It's one thing, one thing I've realized a lot of, more and more since I've watched these teams play over the years. Right now, especially with the Preds preseason right now, is a very hype time of year. Okay, you have to you have to know it for what it is, and
yeah,
I wouldn't say I agree with you as far as not worry about Brady Martin losing his confidence, but again it's just different when you're playing in preseason, even preseason games versus regular season games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a totally different beast. And of
You're
course, like
right about that.
I hear the guys saying like Michael Bunting, but of course, guys are going to hype up their teammates, so that's that too. And look, it could very well happen that Brady Martin's in the top 6 of the first 8 games. Joel's comment very well might come to fruition, but again, just let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Is all I'm trying to say.
No, you're absolutely right about all of that.
Yeah,
my thing is when I look at the Preds line combos right now for the forwards, it's very, very fluid. I mean, I can't remember being in a preseason where there's this much disagreement, especially when you talk about Luke Evangelista still not being signed, which we're not going to even have
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just going to say we're not going to even have a segment on Luke Evangelista tonight because I'm so tired of talking about it.
I don't know what the hell's going on there.
But that even throws another just whirlwind into this whole discussion when it comes to talking about. I realize Brady Martin, he's going to play center, but like still it throws a whole whirlwind into this because we're talking about guys like Matthew Wood who can play center or wing, but you're probably going to start him off on the wing.
Well, especially talking about Stamkos, because if you were thinking he might be a center, well, now he has flexibility to go over to the wing. Well, he probably did anyway, but still.
This whole uncertainty with Evangelista is making it even more difficult to predict what the opening night forward lines are going to look like for the Predators. It's so impossible. Good luck trying. I mean, all we really know is Forsberg's going to be on the top line. Brunette did pretty much confirm that Ryan O'Reilly is the team's 1C.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice.
So we can have confidence in that. But we don't even know who's going to be on the right wing of the top line right now.
Yeah,
I mean, we would think it's
Forsberg and O'Reilly, and who else?
Yeah, I mean, you would think it's Marchessault, but we don't know that. Brunette might decide to just shock everybody and put Kimmel up there, or put up, who knows? Like he might try something crazy. It's fun to cover and it's fun to argue about, but like that's kind of like where you're at when you're a team like the Predators, who is, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm calling it a rebuild. Now, maybe it's a competitive rebuild, maybe they're competitive, but they're still rebuilding. I don't care what
competitive rebuild, man. I've heard
you
that
can
so many times.
you can sugarcoat it all you want, but this team is rebuilding.
Oh yeah.
Now what they turn that into, which we're going to get into a little bit later, like how much we think they can actually improve this year and what the preseason experts are predicting right now. But they're rebuilding. They're a rebuilding team. So it makes it fun in the preseason when you're trying to figure out which young players can crack the roster. And they're making it really interesting right now. I do love to see that, especially Matthew Wood. I mean, Matthew Wood, I would actually – he's not even in the projected lineup according to Daily Faceoff right now. But I would put him in over – here's the problem. You have a logjam right now on the right wing because it kind of comes down to Joakim Kimmel or Matthew Wood is kind of what I'm seeing it. Unless both of those guys are going to take a spot from Zachary LaRue, or are one of those guys going to play left wing and take a spot from Cole Smith? That's really what I see. Those are the only two options.
Yeah.
When it comes to the wings.
I'm looking at the Daily Faceoff lineup right now.
We're both looking at it. I'll put it on the screen as well so the viewers can see
it could be Kimmel. It could be Matthew Wood. Hell, it could even be Ozzy Weisblatt, too. I mean, you never know. Which, by the way, not to go too on this, my condolences to the Weisblatt family, Chad. I'm sure you heard what happened with their older brother Orca. I just don't want to spend too much time there. Obviously, it's terrible, but just want to extend that to the Weisblatt family. That's absolutely terrible.
Yep, very rough stuff there, and my thoughts as well with them. And in the last episode, we also extended our thoughts to them. I heard that both of the brothers returned to the Predators training camp.
Yep.
But I can't imagine what they're going through. But, that's when teams come together. That's when their teammates come together. That's when we all come together as a community and support support what they're going through. So, yeah. But looking at the lineup there, I mean, you don't even see – I mean, that's a really interesting lineup from Daily Faceoff that I don't really like. I'm not on board with it all, really. Like, I don't know. But they got Evangelista on the top line. They got Marchessault on the third line.
I actually kind of love that. I kind of love that third line.
You like that? Really? I mean, the third line.
Yeah, the third line.
Assuming that Evangelista decides to sign his damn contract.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure they're going to do it anymore after this whole this dispute. But I was going to want Evangelista on the top line with Forsberg O'Reilly.
I was always thinking that Evangelista was going to be good on the second line, but that was just me not knowing. Justin Gambino, our old friend, says, keep up the great work. Excited for another season of Hockey Star. We're right there with you, Justin. Good to hear you as well. Also, we got to gear up for another Catfish and Ice Fantasy Hockey League. I just got my notification today for the draft, so excited about that. But so let me think more about Brady Martin here. I mean, I said it all along. If you put him in, he's got to play center.
Yes.
And Max, you already said, okay, he would take Fedor Svechkov's spot.
Probably.
So you would probably move Eric Haula out of the center position because he doesn't have to play center. You could put Eric.
That's true. You bump out one of Smith and McCarron as who goes out of the lineup.
That I was going to say Smith.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain.
I mean, it's musical chairs here, but I think that you move Eric Haula to a wing. You slot Brady Martin in. I like the idea that you have, Max, of putting hey, you're going to go dive into the deep end. Don't just dip your toes in there. If you're going to start Brady Martin, your 5th overall pick to open the season, don't dip your toes in. Dive deep and put him on the second line and see what he does. I love it.
Honestly,
I'm going to put this comment back on the screen. One of the best comments we've had in a long time from Joel. Let Martin play top 6 minutes for the first 8 games and then decide to keep him or send him down. There's very little risk with that. The only risk you're really dealing with is worrying about damaging his confidence, which I have already been very clear, and Max has already been very clear. I don't think his confidence is – I think, if anything, you're boosting his confidence.
Yeah.
And I said – when he first got drafted, I said I was very clear that you don't draft a guy 5th overall to stash him away and hide him and treat him with kid gloves and be like, oh, we don't want to rush you. Hey, Brady, we don't want to rush you too soon. We're going to hide you in junior hockey for another year because we're afraid. We don't want to damage your confidence. I don't buy that. You drafted this guy 5th overall. You are what you are as a team. You are a 30th ranked team according to the standings last year. And I'm sure all the guys in that locker room feel like we are not a 30th ranked team. We are way better than that. But be that as it may, that's what you were. And so you get a 5th overall pick, one of the highest draft picks you've had in this franchise's history, going way back to Seth Jones over a decade ago. I don't see any harm or foul to put Joel. To play. Hey, Joel, maybe you can play. Hey, Joel, can you play top 6? I don't see any harm or foul in putting Brady Martin in the top 6. Joel, keep spitting facts here. He could be a difference maker, and if he's not, then they gave him a look and see you next season. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joel, for preaching to my choir. I swear I didn't pay Joel any money to give those comments.
Honestly,
I swear I didn't.
Looking at this lineup, especially if Martin's in there, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be a good team. This team could be kind of fun.
They could be fun, at least. Don't we want to have fun?
I'd be down to see a fun team.
That does, and look, you don't have to waive Cole Smith either. It might be there might be some hurt feelings, but you could healthy scratch Cole Smith. You could healthy scratch Michael McCarron,
and those two I'm sure would revolve. Like I don't think one guy's in and one guy's out.
Well, they've been healthy scratched in their past.
Yeah, I know they know what they are.
So you could find ways to start Brady Martin in the first 8 games and healthy scratch a couple forwards here and there. And I think those guys would understand. I mean, those guys understand, hey, this is the 5th overall pick. And this organization wants to see what they got in him.
And they know that they are, no offense, they know that they are bottom, 4th line guys.
And if they're team first guys, they're not going to have a problem with it.
Which I believe they are.
I have no reason to believe that they're not. So, right. I mean, again, I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I'm not predicting it necessarily, but I'm not against it, honestly. I mean, and it's not even just about what he's done in the preseason, and that certainly helps. But I've kind of felt this way since he got drafted, but I'm kind of like the rebel approach to this. You can view that as a little reckless. But I've always said that I know what I get out of Cole Smith and Michael McCarron. No offense to those guys, but they've reached their ceilings, and I've seen what they can produce for this team. I'm not saying it's all bad. They are what they are. They're 4th line guys. They play hard. They do some good things. Cole Smith is a outstanding penalty killer. Michael McCarron will stick up for his teammates. He is one of the biggest physical guys that you don't want to step up to in a game where you need guys like that. Boyd actually brought up in the last episode that Michael McCarron could actually be a decent trade chip once we get into the season.
I saw rumors that teams could have offered a 2nd rounder for him last year, and if that's the case, how did we not take that?
There are a lot of teams out there who would love to get a Michael McCarron to bolster up their playoff.
If I'm Barry Trotz and some team says, hey, I have a 2nd rounder to give you Michael McCarron, I'm like, say less. I'm getting that trade in before they change their mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if I've ever been this. I'm not trying to be over dramatic here. I can't remember the last time I was this intrigued about what the opening night lineup was going to look like for the Predators.
Yeah,
in the past few years, it's always felt like there was maybe one spot up for grabs, maybe. maybe there was like one random spot where, and it was always like a journeyman that might get in, like a random guy. This year, it feels like there's a lot of prospects, a lot of young talent. Reed Schaefer, who I don't overlook. Like, there's a lot of guys who like we could, when game day comes and we get the opening night lineup, we could be very surprised. We could be like, oh my God, like Reed Schaefer's in the lineup tonight. Or, normally it takes like 20 or 30 games into the season before the Predators call up one of their younger players to make their debut or whatever. How cool would it be to see the season open with a young future talent? That would be really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Especially when you're talking about where this team's at right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's get in our DraftKings promo here, and it's all about the NFL and the Pick 6 app. Catfish and Ice has been chosen to represent DraftKings and their Pick 6 app feature, which is so much fun, so cool. And it's football is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. So I'm going to pull up my DraftKings app now. I'm going to go to Pick 6. It's super easy. You just click on the Pick 6 tab. It's already telling me the live NFL picks. We got Thursday Night Football going on right now. And you've got stuff like Walker the third, the running back for the Seahawks. You can go
Walker.
more. You could go more than 0.5 receiving touchdowns and rushing touchdowns for a 1.5 boost. You could go for McBride, the tight end for the Cardinals, over or under 0.5 rushing touchdowns. If you hit more, it's a 1.7 boost. And it acts in real time. It's the odds are literally changing right now as I'm watching and as I'm looking at the app. It's that easy. You've even got Kyler Murray here, the quarterback for the Panthers. More or less 214.5 passing yards. He's currently got 83 passing yards. So you could go with that. So basically it's that fun. And it just changed to 212 for Kyler Murray. So it changes as you're watching on the app. It's that easy. But with that, here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. So really, really cool app there to check out on the DraftKings Pick 6. So with that, let's move along here in episode 276 and get into some future predictions regarding the Nashville Predators. And I first want to pull up what Jay Fresh has to say. Let me find that real quick. There it is right there. And honestly, I find that Jay Fresh is being very, very kind to us.
Yeah, they said 89 points in the standings.
87.
That's still
put it on the screen.
That's still
That's being very generous, if you ask me. I'm putting on
I
the
think
screen
so
right
too.
here. There you have it, and that's the whole league that we have in store for you there. So you're seeing they got the Predators still the second to last team in the division, so he's not that high on them. Only the Blackhawks in the Central Division he has rated lower. But you're seeing it there. 75 points for the Blackhawks, Preds with 87 points, Blues with 87 points, Minnesota Wild with 93 points, and then in bold, he's got his playoff teams, and he's got 4 teams in the Central Division. Winnipeg, Utah, Colorado, and Dallas. I am very high on Utah.
Yeah, I could see it.
He's got Utah with 95 points, Winnipeg 94 points, Colorado 104 points,
Which
and Dallas.
if that holds right there, a Utah-Colorado first-round series would be fun.
That would be fun. But even if you're looking at those projections, Nashville's only 7 points behind a playoff spot, according to his projections. And, I mean, that's not as big of a gap as a lot of people feel like the Predators are sitting right now. So I feel like this is a very generous prediction here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess is it too early for me to give my prediction on the points?
No, it's not too early. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think, I do think the Predators are going to at least, standings-wise, be a better team than they were last year, just because last year they were so snake-bitten when it came to, finishing and execution. I do expect that to get better. I would say fairly substantially better, honestly. I don't see it being that, like, it was like historically low last year. I don't see it being that bad again.
Yeah, 68 points.
That being said, it's still not a good team. The Preds have, like we talked, it could be a fun team, but it won't be a good team in terms of contending for the playoffs and all that. We don't expect that at all. There's at best there's so many unknowns with the young guys and all that. I'm gonna say so. Last year, what do we have? Like 67 points last year.
68
points.
And that actually to finish at 68, they actually had to kind of play a little bit better down the stretch in garbage time. I remember for like the last month of the season, I remember they were in territory where they were in danger of finishing as the worst team in franchise history. Yeah. And then they actually managed to win a few games down the stretch to avoid being the worst team in franchise history.
I'm going to say we get 80 points this year. I think we're going to
80.
Yeah, I'll say 80. I think we're going to, because if you think about it, I'll say 78. I'll say 78.
No.
I think,
oh, wow, you're going lower. Okay.
I'll say 78. I think that, with the way the games finished last year, because there were a decent, few, 1-goal games where, the Preds team, they got chances, but just couldn't finish and all that. If you get about 5 of those going back our way, which out of an 82-game season, that's really not many. But if you say 5 games, I think that's fair, especially with where the roster's at. That's 10 more points. I'm going to say, yeah, I think 78's a fair assumption.
Oh, you mean like this one? How about this stat, the 5-on-5 stat that I always go back to? Let me find it. And then I'll give my. First of all, let's also be fair to Jay Fresh. This was put out before the Nick Hague injury was released, and his analytics and his standings projections are very heavily based on who is in the lineup. Yeah. So I'm sure I don't know for sure how much that would hurt the Preds with Hague being out
that much, honestly. Because again, I mean, I know it's a month long, but it is only a month, and he will be back. So it doesn't change my prediction that much.
So here's what I was going to get at, and I'm going to put this on the screen as well. Let's get off Jay Fresh here for a second, but I had to put this on there because Max just brought it up about how like the bad luck that the Predators had, 1-goal games, stuff like that. So I got to get this on here, and I found it pretty quick because it's a stat that I just went back to so much last season. So let me put it on the screen for all of our YouTube and Facebook viewers. And also, if you're watching, please hit subscribe below. We'd appreciate it. But there you have it. This is from Money Puck. And that's goals for above expected. And that basically rates what you were expected to score based on scoring chances, high danger chances.
It can't be that bad again. It can't.
It's that bad. That's 5-on-5.
Still,
but
though.
That's when you play the majority of your ice time, obviously. So yeah, that's how. I mean, that's like look how close the next worst team is. They're 6 goals worse than the next worst team. It's so bad.
I mean, wait, are you looking at the goals for above expected?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. New Jersey -23, Carolina -25, Florida -27. That's
and crazy. All those teams went to the playoffs.
Utah
Florida
-27.
won the Stanley
Cup.
Not
great. But then look at that. Like 2 gap, 1 gap, 9 gap. I just don't see that happening again.
They basically scored 37 goals less than what they were expected to score.
Wow. Unreal.
I mean, that's crazy. That's 5-on-5. So it's, I mean, like it's not counting for power play. But I mean, I just cannot get over that number. But let's go to 2023-24. How much did that change? Let's see.
You passed.
-16.22.
So again,
they were still.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I was going to say that still not good, but they got significantly worse. So you just have to wonder, like, what is going on here when it comes to that stat? Because that's like, you can't think it 2 years in a row they're going to be on the negative, again.
I mean,
but
again, that's still reflective, to me that you don't have, enough, by a combination of, playmakers and finishers, you don't have enough like offensive talent, and that's for sure. But again, I just don't see it being as bad as -36. And again, I think what you said is in line with, an expectation of a few more wins just based on, finishing chances here and there.
Well, that's why I wanted to share that. As soon as you said, when you were talking about your predicting, making your prediction, you said, like, I can't imagine them, being that bad again. Like they had a lot of one score games. That's the stat I immediately thought about. I just had to go find it on Money Puck because that right there says it all. And so that's why I feel like I'm a little bit more bullish on the Predators than you are, Max, but not much. I have always said that the ceiling for this team next year is kind of where Jay Fresh predicted them, but I'm not willing to go that far. I've always said that I will come away from next season feeling pretty good about the direction we're going in if this team finishes mid-80s. So I'm thinking like 85, 84. So that I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going to say 85 points. I'm going to go. I'll put that there now. I'll say, and I'm not going to even factor in the Hague injury. I'm just going to go ahead and book myself to that. I'm going to say 85 points. They're still going to be well short of the playoffs. I could see a scenario where we go into February and they're hanging around a little bit. They got us interested a little bit, maybe more so than last year, and gives us a reason to watch these games a little bit more. And then who knows what Barry Trotz does at the trade deadline if they're hanging around. But ultimately, I think they're going to be a year away. And then I think next offseason could be really interesting for this franchise because you've got some guys getting older and you've got some decisions to make, more decisions to make with some free agents. And we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to go with 85 points. My expectations are super low this year in terms of playoffs or anything like that. My thought is let's show progress. Let's see what we got in the long-term future for sure.
Yeah.
I want to look at bold predictions that ESPN is saying, and Greg Wyshynski. I'm going to click on the Preds, jump right ahead. And this is what Wyshynski had a very interesting thing to say about what he think. He gave basically 32 thoughts he gave one thought about each team. And so I want to put that on the screen from ESPN. for everybody to look at on YouTube. And because I found it pretty interesting, it's his bold predictions for every NHL team. And I always like this preseason stuff. I like to bookmark it so I can say, hey, everybody was wrong. But here you go. So I want to read it for the people who aren't watching. But his bold prediction is Andrew Brunette keeps his job. And just some of the things that he says here is there aren't many coaches on the hot seat to start the season, but Brunette has to be shuffling uncomfortably. He oversaw an abject disaster last season and enters this season with a Predators team expected to finish outside the playoffs again. And yet I expect Brunette will coach through the 2025-26 season. I anticipate the Preds will be better than a .415 points percentage. I agree with that. You can't. How can you be any worse? Because players such as Juuse Saros, God, did Greg copy my homework? Because I've been saying this all offseason. Greg, stop copying me. But Greg says because players such as Juuse Saros are due to bounce back, and frankly, because they can't be much worse. Well, I think anybody with a functioning brain would say that. But let's say the season does end up uglier than Broadway. This is a great line here from Greg. I got to give Greg credit here. He says, let's say the season does end up uglier than Broadway at 3 a.m. on a Friday night. Totally fair. Brunette signed a 4-year deal in 2024 with the last season an option year. Would Nashville really want to pay a guy not to stand behind the bench if the season is a bust? Here's saying he lasts the season, although perhaps not behind that. So basically what I get from this is Greg Wyshynski is basically saying he's not predicting the Preds are necessarily going to be that much better. He's just saying they can't get any worse. That's all he's saying here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always of the opinion you always can get worse, but for the Preds, he's right. Most likely, you probably can, but you never know.
Can't get much worse. In other words, it's not a steaming hot take to say the Predators are going to be better this year, as I think what I'm gathering.
Right? No,
because they can't get much worse.
Right?
They can't get much worse. But I really did appreciate that line about it can't get uglier than Broadway at 3 a.m. on a Friday.
He is right about that.
He's very right. If it gets uglier than that, then we're in a lot of trouble. I also want to see, let's see, one more thing I want to check out is let's check out the hockey news. Let's check out their power rankings. Let's see where they put the Preds. I'm actually opening this for the first time, so we'll learn this together. I do appreciate the hockey news. They put out really good stuff. I appreciate their writers. Let's see. Let's go way down. Is this firewalled? I think it's firewalled. It's not letting me go in. Wow, it's firewalled. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Let's see where the Hockey Writers has the Predators projected. Man, some of these websites could be way better formatted. I'm just saying. Let's say, let's go to the Central Division on the Hockey Writers. Oh, that's Pacific Division. Okay. Wow. I should have been better prepared for this. Wow, the Hockey News has only got the Pacific Division up right now. No one cares about the Pacific Division. Okay, then. This one's firewall. Let's see. Yahoo's free, right?
You'd hope.
I still got a Yahoo email account, and everyone gives me crap for it. Okay, let's go to the power rankings for Yahoo, because everyone goes to Yahoo for their hockey advice. They've got the Vegas Golden Knights as their. Oh, this is power play rankings. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, we're here. Let's see where they rank Let's see where they rank the Predators' power play. I actually don't think the Predators' power play is going to be that bad. For all their deficiencies, I think the Predators' power play could be
Where did it finish last year? I don't remember where it finished last year.
While I'm looking at this, if you want to check that out, maybe
I'm trying to look at something
or I can find it. I'm going down the list here, though. I'm going past 13. Okay, they don't even go that far down. So yeah, this has been a horrible, horrible exercise. They don't even have the Predators on there. They have the Vegas Golden Knights as their top power play, which is a fair assessment, I guess. Wow. I think some of these websites don't even think the Predators exist as a team. Let's look at Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report has the Predators as the 29th ranked team.
Could happen.
You want to Bleacher Report, their preseason power rankings has the Predators as number 29. Do you want to guess there are 3 teams behind them, Max?
San Jose, Chicago, and Anaheim.
Oh, Chicago and San Jose is correct. Not Anaheim. They got Pittsburgh.
That doesn't surprise me much either, honestly.
They got Seattle number 28. They got Philly 27, Buffalo 26, Boston 25, New York 24. They've actually got Anaheim at 22.
Not terrible.
But anyway, yeah, the hype around the Predators is definitely way different than last year. Let's just put it that way.
No, for sure.
And it's very well deserved.
Right.
Very well deserved. Okay. Let's go ahead and round out episode 276 with Titans time. Because we haven't done that in a few weeks.
No.
And, Max is our resident Titans reporter here. And I always like to start with Titans time by giving my monologue to Max so that he can listen to me and then he can tell me all the things that I have to say. So, like, for me, I have watched the Titans this year, and it's not even that they're bad, Max. I expected them to not be good. It's all the ineptitude. It's all the self-infliction. It's just like, what is the front office doing? What is like, I just don't get it. It's like they don't even want to be there. And it's just like, I never want to see a guy fired. But Brian Callahan, It's like, what is this guy doing? And
right.
He's giving up he's giving up his play calling. He's settling for field goals before halftime. Like, the whole time I'm thinking Cam Ward is like, I guess some of the analytics are saying, like, yeah, he's actually not doing that bad, all things considered, what's around him.
Although he is a rookie quarterback going through growing pains.
And he's getting the least amount of time to throw the ball. But now I'm also seeing people say, like, and I want to get your thought on this. I'm seeing some people think maybe Will Levis wasn't that bad. I'm not willing to go that far.
Okay. I see people say that. And let me say, you're not going to get any argument from me that the Titans' problems are much cheaper than just Will Levis. As far as that conversation goes, you look at all, like, last year after week 3, Will Levis had 7 total turnovers. Cam Ward's only got 3, which still isn't great. Either way, but if you look at, like, big mistakes, last year at this time, Will Levis had, I'm not going to go every little bit, he had 3 big mistakes. 2 of them were, like, really, obviously, like, the 2 bad mistakes. He had 1 other interception that was not great. Cam Ward's only had 1 big mistake at the time. Overall, quarterback play has been much cleaner. So I'm not going to. So I definitely. You're not going to. You're not going to. You're not going to hear me sit here and say that the Titans have had even worse quarterback play. No, that's not the case. But they are somehow maybe even a worse team overall. And also, like, how, like, last year, like, 2 of the things, like, the biggest thing that killed Titans were turnover, especially on offense. Yeah. It's special teams. Special teams have taken they went from a total liability to a bona fide strength. Like, I believe I saw a few weeks ago, we were 2nd in DVOA special teams. Chimere Dike, who has been phenomenal as a punt and kick returner, is graded number 1 by PFF in that regard.
So what is the number one thing that's plaguing this team right now?
It just, honestly, and
Offensive line?
Not even just, I just think, honestly, it's just culture. And honestly, I hate to say coaching, but obviously the team overall is not talented. Let's get that right.
And we knew that going in. We knew that going in.
This team was not going to be a good team. But like you said earlier, we're not expecting this team to be a good team, to go to playoffs, anything. We just want them to be functional.
They're getting run out of the building.
Just have some.
Well, they gave away the game against Denver.
Yeah, but
Denver didn't even play a good game.
This looked like some semblance of a professional football team. And what am I trying to say here? It's just
what about Calvin Ridley, the dude who cannot catch a ball in his life?
He can't catch right now, and that's another big thing. Impact. Calvin Ridley, you're the top pass catcher on the team. At least should be. He's playing really bad. Honestly, the only guys really on this team, and here's one thing I will say, and I wrote an article about this. One area of this team I will somewhat excuse is the offensive line, because J.C. Latham's been out with a hip strain since week 1. He went out of that game. Kevin Zeitler didn't play last week. The right side of the offensive line's been basically decimated in the first 2 weeks of the year. Lloyd Cushenberry still got coming back from an Achilles. But on the left side, you still have Dan Moore, who, again, we knew was average. He hasn't done well against the best edge rushers, but last week was good, playing a bad edge rushing team. Peter Skoronski, left guard, has actually been great. He's been one of the few silver linings on his team. But then, like you said, Cam Ward's honestly been pretty decent. Alec Iomen, the receiver from this draft class, has been good. Chimere Dike, like I said, great punt returner.
We don't have much of a running game
from this class. We have no.
We don't have a power running. We don't have a power running game at all.
No, that's another big thing. But also, again, it's not just coaching. Let me tell you right now. But when you get into everything, obviously the game management. I'm sure you saw the end of the first half against Indy.
Yeah.
Which
all I saw was he settled for a field goal.
Well, and
he defended it. He was Callahan was like, "Oh yeah, I decided to settle for a field goal."
Well, what you're not talking about. So that was an issue with me, obviously, because you're down 17-6 at the half. You got to get a touchdown. But beyond that, even if you want to say, okay, settle for 3, get 3 points, got it to a 1-score game. Well, he gets the fourth and 1 and lines up to go for it. Colts call a timeout. I believe he lined up to go for it again. Callahan calls a timeout. Come out of that timeout, 40 seconds left, delay of game, back up 5 yards, 64-yard field goal, you miss, Colts get the ball back, and they score points before halftime.
My whole thing is like this.
So mismanaged.
My whole thing is this. You're not giving your team any confidence at 0-2. You know what you are. It's very similar to how I feel about the Predators. You're not giving your team any confidence, knowing what you are, to say, guys, I don't have faith in you. I don't have faith in you to gain 1 freaking yard. We're going to kick a long-ass field goal. That just sends
Which he did that for the second time in the game, by the way.
I would have way more respect for Brian Callahan if he said, I'm going down swinging. We're going to go for it. And if we don't get it, we don't get it. But at least I went out swinging. But all this crap about settling for field goals when you're already not a good team to begin with. And it's such bad optics. And it's just I'm not going to hold you against the fire that you're not a Super Bowl contender. We all know what you are, but God, show a little bit of fire. That's what I miss about Mike Vrabel so much. And I'm not trying to compare the two, but I'm just at least Mike Vrabel, for all of his problems, I knew that guy was going to go out swinging. I
remember being in my seats at the game on Sunday because I remember the end of the first half's coming, clock's running down, and I say to the guys behind me, they better hurry it up. They're letting this clock waste, and I'm like, even Callahan cannot be conservative here. And then they're like, no, he is willing to take this down and just get 3 points. And sure enough, he was. So let's just say here, it's not. And also, did you hear the quote from Michael Pittman at the end of Sunday?
No. Oh, I did. I caught wind of it. He basically called out the Titans like they didn't want to play.
Yeah, he literally said he saw it in the pregame warmups. They're not jumping. They're not bouncing around. They're just kind of walking. They don't want to play a game. And let me say about Brian Callahan, okay? It's not. I don't want him fired just because of the in-game mismanagement. I don't want him fired just because of obviously the team not playing for him. I don't want him fired just because, the offense is getting worse despite cleaner play. I don't want him fired just because of poor post-game remarks or even just because, penalties. It's all of it. All of it. And again, we do not expect the Titans to be good. Let's just say that. We just want a little bit of progress. We want the team to show a heartbeat. And not only are they not showing any progress, and I know it's week 3, but since last year, getting worse and worse and worse with the better quarterback play and better special teams play.
Clearly, this locker room is not fired up to play for Brian Callahan right now. I mean, you don't have to be in that locker room to see it. And I mean, just to tie it back to the Predators,
when your opponents are calling you out for that,
we're talking about two. So we're talking about two teams who play in the same city, two fan bases who mostly cheer for both teams together collectively. So I'm going to make this comparison. At least and I know hockey and NFL are way different in terms of minor leagues and calling players up. You have more options. I'm not trying to compare the two, but I do kind of have to at least have fun with this a little bit to tie this episode up since we are a Predators podcast. I got to compare Brian Callahan to Andrew Brunette at least a little bit in terms of how are these two coaches handling adversity right now? Because they're both in very hot seats. Now, Andrew Brunette hasn't started his new season yet, but he's entering the season in the hot seat. He's been there a little bit longer. I get that NFL and NHL are completely different beasts, and they got different things they have to deal with. My point is, just for the sake of it, because we're covering two teams in the same city with fan bases who cheer for both teams most likely, at least when I watch the Predators, I feel like those guys look a lot more angry at themselves for not playing the way they should have played last year. Whereas I watch the Titans right now, and we're barely into the season, and that team already looks deflated. They already look like they've played a full season, and they are beat down, and the damn season just started. At least that's bad. At least when I watch the Predators, they look pissed off. They look defeated, but they look pissed off. They're like, we got to get out there. When I watch the Titans right now, they look like they lost before they even walked out on the field right now.
I said 2 weeks ago on the podcast, and I'll say it again. At least with Andrew Brunette, it's proven you can run a functional professional organization with Andrew Brunette as your head coach. Brian Callahan, we're going to see, does not prove you can run a functional organization under Brian Callahan. You can do that under Andrew Brunette, though. You can do that.
Well, we're going to find out. And Andrew
Brunette did last year. They made the playoffs.
No, I'm talking. The Predators didn't make the playoffs last year.
2 years ago. What I'm saying is, the Preds made the playoffs. Which proves
I get what you're saying.
You can run a functioning team with Andrew Brunette as your head coach.
And what's really interesting about this comparison is Andrew Brunette's still considered a very.
Sorry, I'm getting the call. I got to shut this off. My bad.
You're good, but we're about to wrap it up anyway. But just comparing the two, Andrew Brunette is also a very young head coach in his respective league. He's been around a little bit longer than Callahan has in his respect, but I'm just saying, like, they're still two very young head coaches in their respective leagues, and they're both up against a wall and not in good graces with the Nashville fan base right now. So it's so interesting to watch these two professional franchises kind of go parallel to each other right now.
But one of them's proven they can do it.
Well, let's see what happens this year. But either way, it's been episode 276 of Catfish and Ice. Next episode, I think we will be able to react to what the lineup's going to look like for the regular season. We'll be through the preseason, so we will put that out there when we get that episode out. Until then, Max, it's been a pleasure to see you, man.
Absolutely.
And it's been a pleasure for all of you to listen and watch tonight. We really appreciate you so much. We can't wait for a new season of Nashville Predators hockey and Catfish and Ice on the Hockey Podcast Network. Please Hit subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Until then, we will see you soon, everyone. Take care.
See you guys.